Well, hi and welcome again to another little section on chemistry. This one's about naming compounds, but the compounds we're looking at are the compounds that have metal parts in it. Now, if you remember back to your periodic table, that is all the things on the left of the steps. So the largest group of elements are the metals, of course, and we work from there. So let's look at this nice and quickly. We saw that metals we can have metals or non-metals, and we can have metalloids or semi-metals, if you want to call them that, in the middle. But for the sake of what we're doing, we're going to only look at metals and non-metals. And if we talk about those, you might hear or see an expression in the textbook in particular about inorganics. And that simply means we have metal parts with it. But that doesn't say that metal parts don't exist in organic materials, but that's a much more complex issue, and we'll leave that alone. Alright, the first name, always, and the first thing that is shown in a metal compound, a compound containing metals, is the metal part. So what we do is we simply look at our periodic table and read the name off. And that becomes the first part of the name of the compound. Now the second part of the name is like the non-metal part, and as we're going to see, that changes a little bit, but not too much, and makes it easiest for us to understand. So let's look up some common non-metals, and you can see I've put a table here, and you can see I've got the element name and the way it is changed when it becomes part of a compound. So for example, we've got chlorine and becomes chloride. Fluorine becomes fluoride. By George, I think I'm seeing a pattern. Bromine becomes a bromide. Sulfur becomes sulfide. So we just look at the tail end of the name and make it an IDE, but it's got to sound right. So for example, if we've got phosphorus, we don't call it phosphoride, we call it phosphide. Don't have it too long. Iodine, iodide. Nitrogen is an interesting one, becomes a nitride. So nitrogen iode doesn't roll off the tongue, and carbon iode doesn't roll off the tongue either. So that's why nitrogen becomes nitride and carbon becomes carbide. So let's have a look at what happens when we do these simple combinations, and let's work from there. Alright, which part, first of all we've got to look at which part is the metal and which part's a non-metal, and work from there. So if we think about it, we have copper and chlorine. Copper is the metal part, so it becomes first. So we have copper. Chlorine is the second part, and we saw on the last slide that if we goes chlorine, it becomes chlor-IDE, chloride. Right. Next one. I'll give you a chance to have a look at this. Now we've started. How about you have a go first, and then I'll put the answer in. So if you go now. Right. So our answer is iron is the metal, so it goes first. So we've got iron. Oxygen becomes oxide. So hopefully you got that one correct. Now, just to really confuse you, we're going to do iodine is added to lead. So how about you do that now, answer the question, and then I'll give the answer. Alright, in this case, our metal is here, lead. So there's our start, and iodine doesn't become iodine-ide, it becomes iodide. And that becomes our answer. I hope you are seeing this and getting this okay. To continue, we've got chlorine is added to gold. Alright, I'll give you a bit of time now to go through and answer it. Okay, our answer, the metal is gold. And then we have chlorine, doesn't stay as chlorine, it becomes chloride. Right, next one. Bromine is added to tin. Alright, answer the question, think, pick the best answer the question, do it now. Right, the metal in this case is tin, and then we have other part, bromine becomes bromide. I hope this is really starting to become very, very obvious and very, very easy for us to do. Right, next one, quickly, nitrogen is added to sodium. Right, I'll give you time now to answer it. Right, the metal part is sodium. So it's named first, and nitrogen becomes nitride. Lucky last, we're adding sulfur to that liquid mercury. Alright, how about you have a go at answering the question? Do so now. Right, our metal is mercury. And we've got sulfur, but it becomes sulfide. I hope that has really helped to clear up some of the problems with naming. There will be other short little lessons on this very, very soon.